Okay, so we sanitize our hands and then we're going to put the gloves on. Got some nice jazz music to make it not stressful.
Do you need me up more?
Oh, no, you're good. You just relax and enjoy.
Actually, when I do that,
It doesn't matter. You can record and watch. These gloves are harder than I thought. I'm already behind. Okay, so first we're gonna wipe her brows with a makeup wipe to see if she had any brow makeup on there, and then so she shouldn't have any. Some clients do when they come in like towards the end of the day. So now that it's clean, we're going to sterilize it with the alcohol wipe. Sterilized, we can either apply numbing cream or we can start the mapping first. So if you do your mapping first and then you put your numbing cream on, you have to make sure you don't blur your lines. So I'm pretty fast at mapping, so I'm gonna add numbing cream now because it takes about 15 minutes to kick in, and by that time I'll be done mapping. I'm also going to apply numbing cream to her after the first layer of microblading when her skin's open. So then that way
gonna go in the pores?
yeah, they'll go in it. Then you have to flip your Q-tip when you have to go back to the bottle. Because it's really tempting to want to double dip with the numbing cream, but you can't. Yeah. Some clients will want you to like keep applying numbing cream throughout the appointment, but honestly, because it takes 15 minutes to kick in, like you're done.
Yeah, the girl was doing that to me, and I didn't think it was really working that well.
If I start using my string now, it's going to be a little wet and it'll kind of smudge, so I just kind of want to dry off a bit. So our mapping should also be the same lines that she had on her fill, and then we can kind of compare, from her initial appointment.
Oh, it should, because she's already had this recently done.
Yeah, so the first girl also did this pattern, so it should look like the same thing. So I mark and then I go in with mine. Now I'm going to do my diagonals. So you can either go from the nostril, cutting through the outer eyeball, or you can go from the lip, and we can kind of see where.
I go by the nose, I think.
It depends on how long their face is. The thing is, as long as you do what you do to one, you just have to do the other.
So you're not going from the nostril, you're going
It's
from
from the outer
very
nostril.
outer part of her nose, not even the nostril, right?
Yeah, sorry. And then I want to make sure I go right in close to the eyeball. So it looks like the first girl either didn't go that far or her tail didn't hold at all. So that's one thing I'll look at when I start doing the mapping. I'll look at that picture again and just to see where exactly the tail ended. So now I want to have my 3 horizontals and 3 diagonals, and I want to find the arch. So the arch is when you have the client open their eye and she's going to look So Roxanne, if you can open your eyes.
Right in the middle of the.
That's very bright. Yeah. So if you, Tiffany, could you move the light out of the cry for a second? Sorry, because I can't.
Okay.
Okay. So we can see that the first girl did the arch around here.
Yes.
So I'm going from the same point, and then I'm going to go from the outside of her iris.
Oh, it's not in the middle of the iris?
You can do two things. So if you're looking, if you want them to look straight, you can get from the outer side going up, or you can cut through going to the middle. So if we do middle of the iris, as long as one side is the same to the other. So if we're
Yes.
doing the middle of the iris, that'll line up actually nicely.
Okay.
That one's the middle iris.
There's that.
Yeah. This one can do the same thing. Iris. Okay. So now we'll do our three horizontals and three verticals. So the
How do you do that one? Like that?
So we're gonna do the three horizontal ones is the top of the arches to line up together, the inner corners, and then the top of the inside. So what I look at are my markers. These hairs here those are a little too low because it's a little spaced out. So I'm gonna go off of like this kind of line. I can see where her first microblading is.
Yes.
So whichever side is usually, like you have to find it where the most dominant side is the line you're gonna go off of. So I'm just gonna look at both, and it looks like they're already a little bit lined up from that first microblading.
Okay.
So on this side, and then like if you look at the other side over here, you can see the line
Yes.
a little bit. And now the top one would be over here. And now you can close your eyes if you want to. And now we're going to go to the whichever arch top we can see the most. So those are the three horizontals. The three verticals. The other side is a little bit higher one, so this arch has to come in. So the three verticals are this middle one that we already did, and then the other ones are going to be from the tear duct going upward, or the outer part of the nose going up, and that will depend on how wide and close their shape of their eyes are to their face. So the first girl, it looks like she did the tear duct, and then the tear duct on this one. So now we have where the brows are going to start in the middle, where the top of their brow is going to go, and where the brows are going to end.
The tail, yeah.
Yeah, so now we have to figure out the tails and the body angles.
Okay.
I'm just going to switch this straight.
My friend said that a doctor would have to prescribe numbing cream. Really?
The strong stuff, yeah,
Oh, is
that's
that
how
it?
the nurses can get it. So we can see that this tail here, actually here, I'll have you look here. So this one here, you can kind of see the arch more than that one, so this arch has to be lifted up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, so what that means is that, that's why this here is lower, like on my nails, you can't even see it. If I were to not look at that side, it looks like her arch was down here. We have to lift it a bit. So the line that we want to hit is gonna go from this middle line to this outer line and somewhere past on that arch. And this is all going off of her tail being a little bit longer. So after we're all done, we can show her and she can tell us if she wants a shorter tail or longer. Because some people just want different things.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm gonna go on this side. I'm gonna have the top point pass to the top of the arch and hit that outer line. And I'm gonna use that closer outer line because I re-mapped that side a bit.
This mapping thing doesn't seem very easy, I'll tell you.
No, it's one of the
Probably one of the hardest parts,
This is
isn't it?
one of the hardest part of it. So now I'm gonna do the bottom of the arch. So line up hair. Let's see if you get that.
you home? What is he yelling at you? Yeah.
I'm gonna get something else that happened while I'm on break. If you want, you can like, when we're done the mapping, you can take a picture of how it looks before we twist that. Yeah, isn't it better to learn this part when
Yeah,
I'm
you know what? Yeah, this is,
for the demo and everything else?
So he's having a tantrum again.
I think some
Okay.
people probably have to learn this a few times. I don't know how easy it is to just wing this and just do all pretty much what you've had so much practice doing. You know?
Yeah, plus
Did it take
I
a while for you to learn this?
I was nervous for my
Okay,
first.
I'm
like,
doing something.
8
I'll deal with
clients.
it when I get home. So everything that was in that extra that room, you took it out.
But my mapping, when I went, didn't teach us all this stuff. Then it's kind of like, okay, so like, Dawn, how do you think the brush should go pretty
Yeah.
much? And then I learned,
Yeah.
and then I did this like 5 years ago, right?
You're doing this so much. You're gonna learn.
Okay, so now so we have the top of the tail here, top of
Yep.
the arch, and we have where the brow will end. So now we're gonna do the bottom of the tail, which we're gonna see, these are kind of like where the brows are the thickest consecutively. So this line here I'm gonna do, because down here we can pluck all that out of the way.
Yeah.
So and then I'm not hitting this line here. That doesn't really mean anything.
Okay.
I only mattered about the top. So this line doesn't
Yeah, 'cause
really.
that's for the arch there,
Yeah.
the top of the arch.
Probably gonna go somewhere like that. And then do you remember that page that we had all those different brow shapes on?
Yeah.
That's also important when it comes to mapping because you'll have an idea of what they want to go for. So now I'm going to go from this middle point, which is the bottom of the tail, to this end of the tail here. And then it's going to have to somehow create a tail on this side because this side doesn't have a tail that's filled.
Okay.
So top point. So the tails on both sides are done. And now we're going to do the body going forward. So this will also depend on the shape they want. I know that this point here is where the top, like inside of the brow is going to be.
Yes.
And I know that this is the top of the arch. So the point has to go from 1 to 2. And then usually for a nice shape, it goes all the way across the opposite side at the bottom. Not everyone's brow is shaped like that, but it'll look something like, so top of the tail cutting across. Like that. And then I'll do the other side, the top of the arch, cutting through the top of the eyebrow, going opposite. So it's gonna make an X in the middle of her face. But again, this one, if their face is like really far apart, like it won't look that good. You might have to go to the middle, but it's a nice soft line that it'll give you. Now we're gonna go through the bottom of the, like the bottom of the front body. So we need to hit this point here.
Yes.
And then something around here. So this is usually a curve. So you're gonna kind of curve your hand when you do that. And eventually it's gonna end up somewhere to that tail, but this is kind of like a curve that you're gonna make. And that'll end up somewhere in this middle line. So it's gonna go from the middle point to here to somewhere. So this is like the last line because it's a little bit funny. You kind of curve around and stuff. So if I do like a curve like that, see how that kind of becomes like a, and then I'm gonna clean up a bit, and I have to make sure that this line goes to the middle. You have to make sure it goes to the middle because you have to do the same thing on the other side to the same point. Okay. So I'm gonna go from here, and then this point to that point, and then curve in the middle. Okay. So now everything that is in here is gonna get tweezed out because these are all like, you can do it, get this waxed. I'm gonna kind of wipe everything that's not these brows out of the way and tweeze this side over, and I'm gonna kind of curl this up a little bit to make it look a little more feminine because it's all like line.
I just wanted to say that this little line over here that's done, It's almost like that would get confusing with this, you know what I mean? Like
This
I'm thinking
diagonal one,
this line here, like when you go in like that,
this one, when
Why
you
am I
finish
doing- why am I
line.
doing
Yeah,
like
you
that?
can wipe it away. We're gonna wipe everything other than the brow shape now.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so
that makes sense.
if you want, you can take a picture because now
Okay.
this is the mapping part done. And then I'm just gonna wipe this
okay.
other
Take-
stuff off.
take a picture of how it looks. Okay. Yeah, I think that is definitely the most complicated part of this.
Yeah, everything else is just follow
Oh,
the
this
steps
is
in
a
the
piece, sorry, I gotta put this in. It's not, perfect, okay,
Okay, and then do you want to take one more, but like right dead on, kind of like,
okay.
yeah,
Like that?
yeah,
Okay.
that's good. Okay,
Okay.
okay. And now this is a caliper.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So the caliper, what it does, it's like a measuring tool you can use to bend things around. So I'm gonna, once I clean everything off, I'm gonna measure to make sure this tail is the same as that tail, that this middle part is the same as that middle part. So it's just gonna help me to kind of even things up a bit.
Yeah,
But first I'm gonna start to tweeze all that stuff and slowly erase the lines that I don't want.
okay,
So when I tweeze, I want to pull in the direction the hair is coming out of, like pull with the hair, not opposite.
yes,
Some people don't like the tweezing, so when you put your numbing cream on, you can like put it all over so that when you pull hairs out, it's also a little bit more numb. If a client has a natural brow that is, sorry, Roxanne.
isn't it easier when you pull the skin really taut, when
Yeah, I'm trying to roll with my forehead.
it doesn't hurt as much?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm thinking about which is the easiest way to do this where it doesn't hurt. Of course, I'm thinking.
So if you do your allergy test
Yeah.
2 days before the appointment, you could wax their brows at that appointment.
Oh, okay.
But you don't want to wax right before microblading because it's already trauma to
Yeah,
the
of
brow.
course. Yeah.
So yeah, if they wax 2 days before, that's my option. And if someone doesn't want to do an allergy test, you should have them like sign that they didn't want to, because a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm not allergic, but you could be really liable.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we didn't do today was when you have your client do a consent form, you'll want to verbally go over with them the risk of microblading. The biggest risk is allergic reaction or infection. So infection can even be like if I'm using, like if I'm touching from my gloves to my camera. Oh my God. No, not in your accent. It's okay. Okay, well,